Have you ever felt like you're fighting a battle inside your own head? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today as we dive into a really powerful idea from the book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. It's such a simple phrase, but trust me, it holds the key to completely shifting how you experience your life.
So let's just start with a huge question, one that we've all wrestled with at some point. Why do we feel stress, or anxiety, or just frustration? Where does all that emotional weight really come from?
You know, most of the time, we point the finger outwards, right? We blame a rough day at work, or something a friend said, or just the chaos of the world in general. We're pretty much convinced that the cause of our feelings is always something external that happens to us.
But what if that's not the real story? What if the true source of all that suffering is much, much closer than we think? So close, in fact, that we've never even thought to question it.
And that is the central question that Joseph Nguyen explores in his book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. And in this breakdown, we're going to unpack its most important insights.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. What does this book claim is the actual source of all our psychological and emotional suffering?
And here it is, the big, kind of counterintuitive idea. It's not the event. It's not the person. It's not the situation. The root cause of our suffering is our own thinking. Now that is a massive shift from blaming the world outside to looking inside our own minds.
And this next part is absolutely critical. The problem isn't what we're thinking about, whether it's money or work or a relationship. The real problem is the very act of thinking itself.
So to really get this, we have to separate two concepts that we usually just lump together: thoughts and thinking. They sound almost the same, but according to Nguyen, they are worlds apart. Okay, so first up, we have thought. A thought just happens to you. It's a totally effortless little mental event that just floats into your awareness, kind of like a cloud drifting across the sky. It just shows up. You don't have to do anything at all.
Thinking, on the other hand, that's the active process. That's when we grab onto that cloud. It's when you decide to analyze it and judge it and worry about it and wrestle with it. This is a manual, effortful process that we actually choose to do.
And this slide really nails the difference. A thought on its own can be creative, it's light, it's effortless. It just appears. But thinking, that's what so often becomes destructive and heavy. That's the process that leads to all the self-doubt, the anxiety, and the stress. The initial thought is neutral. It's the thinking we pile on top that causes all the pain.
The book uses a classic Zen story to make this point crystal clear. It's called The Parable of the Empty Boat.
So picture this. A monk rows out to the middle of a perfectly calm lake to meditate in total silence. And then suddenly, thump, his boat gets bumped by another one. His peace is just shattered. He is furious, ready to scream at whoever was so careless.
But just as he stands up to let all of his anger out, he looks over and sees that the other boat is completely empty. It had just drifted into him on its own. And in that single moment, all his anger has nowhere to go.
And that's the light bulb moment. The anger didn't come from the boat. It came from his story about a careless person in the boat. The empty boat had zero power to make him angry. He realized that no person, no situation has that power. Only his own reaction does.
Now, this realization leads to another core idea in the book, that peace and clarity are not things we need to build or go out and find. They are actually our default setting.
The book uses this beautiful analogy. Imagine your mind is naturally like a glass of perfectly clear water. All of our frantic, effortful thinking is like someone stirring up the dirt and sediment at the bottom, making everything cloudy and unclear. The solution isn't to try and force the water to be clear. It's just to stop stirring. When we do that, the dirt naturally settles, and the water becomes clear all on its own.
To put it really simply, peace isn't some external goal you have to go out and find. It's what naturally remains when we just stop the internal activity, the thinking, that's disturbing it in the first place.
Okay, so a really common question at this point is probably, wait a minute, don't I need to think to get things done, to succeed, to thrive? So let's see how the book tackles that. It basically poses this question: can you actually perform at your absolute peak without being lost in conscious analytical thinking?
And the book's answer is pretty surprising. Not only can you already have. We all know this feeling. We call it being in the zone or being in a state of flow. In Japanese martial arts, it's known as mushin, which literally means no mind. It's that state where you are performing at your absolute best, almost like you're on autopilot. Just think about what it feels like to be in that zone. Your actions are effortless. That little inner critic in your head goes completely silent. Time just seems to disappear. This is the state of peak human performance, and it is fundamentally a state of non-thinking. You're not analyzing every little move, you're just doing.
And that brings us to the final and most liberating message of this book. Peace, love, and joy. They aren't complicated goals you have to achieve through complex mental gymnastics. They are our natural state, always accessible, just waiting right beneath the noise of our own thinking. They are, quite literally, just one thought away. Subscribe to the Book Breakdown for more powerful book summaries that can change the way you think.